Um, I missed you guys. Last time I saw you was on a watch along, which was very interesting. I'm looking forward to actually doing it again. Um, Once again, I would also like to apologize because I'm using a microphone. So as people come online, you guys can tell me if the microphone is working perfectly or not. Because there's a bit of wind, and I feel like the microphone decreases the, what do you call it, the wind sound basically. So you guys will tell me if maybe the microphone is not necessarily working for you guys. So I missed you. I'm going to do the watch along again for UFC Saudi Arabia. I'm sorry I didn't do the final predictions, but I felt like I, I feel like a lot of people care more about upsets predictions. Dag '05 Kambe. I don't know what that means. Oh, you're talking about my eyes. Okay. So yeah. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people who watch my channel, who follow my channel, or most of my subscribers, mainly care about the upsets predictions as opposed to like your standard predictions, right? Because obviously they see my standard predictions on the shorts, they see my standard predictions on the standard video. So essentially, what do you call it? That's basically why I felt like maybe I should just only do upsets predictions. I've also not been feeling well. I'm fatigued. I think I'm overworking myself. I started, or rather, I've resumed pushing my Facebook page, but it's a law-related Facebook page. So I'm trying to multitask both of these particular pages. It hasn't been really easy. So as you can see, I look tired. I look very tired because that's what I am. But yeah, for you guys, I'd do anything. So let's get to the upsets predictions. First fight on the card is Hamdi Abdel Wahab versus Jamal Pogues. Um, my subscribers and I went with Hamdi Abdul Wahab. Wahab is the favorite, or rather, it's actually an even fight. Faking. Okay. Um, it's actually an even fight. It's minus. The odds are minus 110 for Hamdi and minus 110 for Jamal Pokes. Do I think an upset is possible here? I think so. I honestly think so. Um, but there's no necessarily an upset here because I mean the odds are even, so it doesn't really make sense for me to say is an upset possible because well there is no favorite in this particular fight. Um, I saw a couple of people actually picking. You know what? I made a mistake. My subscribers actually picked Jamal Pogues, not Hamdi. Um, I now realize that I added the predictions incorrectly. So my subscribers actually picked Jamal Pogues. I'm the only one who picked Hamdi Al Wahab. So uh, I don't know, man. I just feel like heavyweight is terrible, and it's gonna be very difficult to actually accurately predict any fight that's going to happen in the heavyweight division, mainly because of that particular point. Because it doesn't have that much talent. You know, that's why whenever we see like a heavyweight that has a little bit of technique, we go crazy because it's something that we're not used to seeing. Um, I feel like Jamal Pogues is bottom of the barrel, but at the same time, I also don't know a lot. I haven't seen enough from Hamdi in order to be significantly confident in my pick. I just feel like between the both of them, you have to go with who you think is a little bit, or rather, a little less horrible. And in this particular instance, the person who's a lot less horrible is Hamdi, in my own opinion. Obviously, Jamal Pogues has a bit of experience, but I feel like as far as who I would say has a little bit of skill, I'd go for Hamdi, but I'm obviously worried about his cardio. So yeah, that's not something that I'm actually excited about. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. So is an upset possible? I mean, the fight is even, but to answer that question, it could go either way. The odds actually, the odds reflect the fight perfectly. I feel like it's a coin flip, but I think Hamdi is going to have a bit of an advantage. Basically, almost everywhere the fight goes, except if maybe he guesses out. I think that's probably going to be the only problem, if any. So I'm not looking forward to that. But yeah, I'd say an upset is possible, even though the odds are even. So either one of them can win. On to the next one. Bogdan Grad versus Lucas Alexander. My subscribers and I went with Bogdan Grad. Bogdan Grad is the favorite at minus 125. Lucas Alexander is the underdog at plus 105. Do I think an upset is possible here? 100%. I think an upset is possible. Largely, even though I picked Bogdan Grad, I mean, he's fairly untested. If I'm not mistaken, I feel like, or rather, as far as I know, Bogdan Grad has only fought on the Contender Series. I stand to be corrected. And Lucas Alexander has had a couple of fights in the UFC. I think he has a little bit more finishing ability. Um, on the feed, which I think is where the fight is probably going to play out, I think Lucas Alexander might have a little bit of an advantage because he's going to have a little bit of a reach advantage. He's going to have a bit of power. Even striking, technical striking, I think he's a little bit better. But I don't know, man. I just feel like there are a couple of things that I saw in Bogdan Grad that make me feel like he has a shot at winning this particular fight. But it's one of those fights that I'm not very confident in. Um, I'm actually even surprised that so many people are picking Bogdan Grad. I'm actually even surprised that he's is the favorite. I would have assumed that he's going to be the underdog, but nonetheless, an upset is definitely possible here. This is one of the few. This is one of the underdogs that I feel a little bit worried about on this particular card, because I think Lucas Alexander is being underestimated, and he has the ability to actually shock a lot of people. So yeah, 100% an upset is definitely possible on this one. On to the next one: Jasmine Jasudavicius versus Mayra Bueno Silva. My subscribers and I went with Jasmine Jasudavicius. Jasudavicius is the favorite at minus 225, and Bueno Silva is the underdog at plus 185. Do I think an upset is possible here? 100%. But the thing about Mayra Bueno Silva is that she hasn't looked the same. Clemhead, I just started training MMA. Feels so good. Um, Clemhead, congratulations, man. I also want to train at some point. Just that I do so many things. I push this channel. I also have a law Facebook channel. I also have a full time job. So it's a lot. But once I can be full time on the channel, I want to actually train it. Back to the predictions. So here's the thing about this particular fight, right? Um, Mayra Bueno Silva has never looked good since she fought Holy Home. So I don't know if she was on something. I'm not suggesting anything, but all I can say is she hasn't looked as good as she did when she fought Holy Home. So ever since she's looked like trash, to be honest. But we can't overlook the fact that she's a former title challenger. She was in the top five at some point. And obviously, Jasmine Jasu the VCS, obviously, I feel like she's going to be. Um, I don't know, man. It's gonna be a tricky fight, to be honest. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think Jasmine Jasuda VCS might have the advantage on the ground. Despite the fact that Mayra Bonova is probably the better submission artist, but I think, what do you call her? Jasuda VCS has the better wrestling. Because I think a lot of, and I keep on repeating this particular point repeatedly because people confuse the two. There's a submission artist and there's a wrestler, right? Submission is about finishing a fight. Wrestling is largely about controlling and avoiding getting controlled. So I think Bueno Silva has the finishing ability, but when we talk about who's probably going to be able to control the fight if it goes to the ground, I think it's going to be Jasuda Vicious. On the feed, I mean, it's going to be a little bit tricky, but I feel like Mayra Bueno Silva's cardio is not that great. Like I said, even in the Holy Home fight, which I picked her to win, by the way, I feel like her cardio was leaving her. She was fortunate to actually get the finish. So she doesn't have great cardio. I know that it's a 3 round fight, but still, I feel like you even if it's a 3 round fight, as long as your opponent has decent cardio in the late second round, the third round, they're able to take those particular rounds. So I feel like if if there's any chance that Mayra Bueno Silva is going to win this fight, it has to be in the first round. If it gets past the first round, I don't think she's going to win the fight. But ultimately, she might surprise me. Who knows? Like I said, she's a former title challenger, so you can't just underestimate her purely because I don't know she hasn't looked good. Maybe she didn't look good because she was fighting elite level competition. WMMA. Anyway, I'm not very confident about this particular pick because, irrespective of everything I just said, we're talking about a former title challenger. Um, I honestly don't know why Jasmine Jasuda VCS is such a massive favorite. Even though I picked her, I don't think she's supposed to be a minus 225. I think maybe a decent number would be like minus 150 or something like that. But it is what it is. Um, Med, bro, one fight card. How many water your country? Um, can you count how many water? Do you mean droplets? Like, okay, sorry, I didn't mean to make fun of you, but like, the question that you're asking is clearly to troll me, so I just had to get one back. Anyway, so an upset is definitely possible on this one. On to the next one. Terence McKinney versus Damir Hadzovic. McKinney is the favorite at minus 350, and Hadzovic is the underdog at plus 275. Do I think an upset is possible here? Surprisingly. I can't believe I'm saying this, but Terence McKinney might be one of the locks on this card. Um, I mean, on top of the fact that the Damir is not that great, we have to also take into consideration the fact that, what do you call him? He's not that good, man. Damir is not that good. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think Damir is like 38 years old or something like that. And Terence McKinney, I mean, I think it takes someone who has a bit of a potential to actually finish him. I mean, he's not getting finished by like literally everyone. So I don't know. I feel like if he loses this one, I mean, it's gonna be sad for him. So I think Terence McKinney should definitely win this one. Um, I'd go as far as saying I feel pretty confident in him. And I feel like the odds makers feel the same way because he's minus 350, which I feel like is actually a correct number in my opinion. So, do I think an upset is possible here? Nah. My subscribers and I went with Terence McKinney. I don't know if I highlighted this. My subscribers and I went with Jasu Davicius, and we went with Bogdan Grad, just in case I didn't mention that. On to the next one, Shamil Gaziev versus Thomas Peterson. My subscribers and I went with Shamil Gaziev. Gaziev is a minus 400 favorite, and Peterson is a plus a 300 underdog. Do I think an upset is possible here? 100%. I think an upset is possible. Um, Arian, will Usman Kamaru be back as champ? I don't know, man. I think the age is not on his side. He's still good. He's pretty talented, and it's reflected by the fact that he gave Hamza Chimaev one of his hardest fights, and you saw what Hamza Chimaev did to Robert Whittaker. So I don't think it's gonna be very challenging. I mean, Bilal is a decent. It comes down to who has better striking, between Bilal and Kamaru Usman, and who has better cardio. And I'm willing to side with Bilal as far as cardio. I don't know about striking, but his hands looked good against Leon Edwards. People think no, it was just wrestling. No, the openings to wrestling were created by the striking. Sorry for getting off topic, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think he's going to ever be a champion again. So I think I don't understand why Shamil Gaziev is a minus 400. Um, I'm coming to the Izzy fight, by the way. I'm coming to the Izzy fight. I'm not there yet. Wait a little bit. I'm going to get to it. So I don't understand why Shamil Gaziev is such a massive favorite. Because in my opinion, I think Thomas Peterson. I actually almost picked Thomas Peterson, and that's one of the reasons why I said this fight is 100% risky. Um, I mean, you can say you don't think Shamil Gaziev loses in Abu Dhabi. What if he gets finished? And that's a way to win. If you're talking about a decision, maybe, but if he gets finished, he's going to lose. But nonetheless, I don't understand why Shamil Gaziev is such a massive favorite. It's unjustified because I feel like Thomas Peterson will be a little bit better technically as far as striking. Obviously, Gaziev will have the advantage as far as power and reach, but that's as far as it goes on the ground. Let me see. I mean, it's gonna be a little bit even, but outside with Thomas Peterson, there are a couple of elements that make me feel like Gaziev will win. That's why I essentially picked him. But um, this is one of the. This is the second fight, along with Lucas Alexander. I think Thomas Peterson is one of the underdogs that I feel like might ruin a lot of people's nights. But who knows? But I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. I'm honestly worried about Thomas Peterson. I know a lot of people say no, he's trash. He's a can and everything like that. But how many times the Mackenzie Dern card? So many underdogs won that people were calling. Um, okay, I'll review my predictions, my previous predictions. Okay, you know what? I'll do that once I'm done because I'm going to actually give you my most confident picks once I'm done here. So I'll do that once I'm done with the upstairs predictions. So yeah, I feel like Thomas Peterson and Lucas Alexander are so far two of the underdogs that I feel like have the ability to actually shock all of us. Especially because people like to call people trash, and look at what happened on the Mackenzie Dern card. A lot of underdogs won, and the people that we felt like this guy's trash, there's no way he's going to win. Like Punahele Soriano, we were all saying, including myself, we were all saying there's no way he beats Uros Medic, and we saw what happened, you know. So I think Thomas Peterson has that ability. Yeah, it feels like Punahele Soriano versus Uros Medic, but the difference is I don't feel that confident in Shamil Gaziev. I don't know why people feel so confidently, but it is what it is. I don't understand minus 400. So in conclusion, I think an upset is definitely possible. On to the next one, Mohamed Naimov versus Khan Offley. Offley is a minus 260 favorite, and I mean, Mohamed Naimov is a minus 260 favorite, and Khan Offley is the underdog at plus 210. Do I think an upset is possible here? I don't know if I actually mentioned that my pick, my official pick, and my subscribers' official pick is Shamil Gaziev. So back to Mohamed Naimov versus Khan Offley. Do I think an upset is possible? I don't think so, man. I think along with Terrence McKinney, I think Mohamed Naimov is going to probably be one of my most confident picks. Um, I don't see a path to victory for Khan Offley, to be honest. I feel like Mohamed Naimov dominates this fight wherever it goes, whether it stays on the feet, whether it goes to the ground. I feel like he dominates this particular fight. I mean, Mohamed Naimov should have been the one who's minus 400, not Shamil Gaziev, guys. Like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? So, do I think an upset is possible here? Hell to the no. Before I proceed, let me read some of your prediction, your comments. I think Ziam, Fares, and Rosenstrike are solid dogs. I'm getting to them right now. I guess we'll see. Will MVP beat Bullet tomorrow? I'm coming to those particular fights. So on to the next one, Fares Ziam versus Mike Davis. My subscribers and I went with Fares Ziam. Fares Ziam is the underdog at plus 120, and Mike Davis is the favorite at minus 140. Do I think an upset is possible here? I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like as far as technique, I'm going with Faraziam. Obviously, I picked the Faraziam, but technically, I feel like Faraziam is going to be a little bit better. But as far as finishing ability, obviously Mike Davis, and if you've been following me for a while, you already know that I normally favor finishers. Um, sure, so I normally favor finishers, um, which Faraziam is not. But as far as technique, um, I think I'm going to go with Faraziam. And another thing is level of competition. In my opinion, you're open to disagreeing with me, but in my opinion, I feel like Faraziam has faced significantly better competition. In my opinion. So I think that gives him a little bit of an advantage. Faraziam has been a little bit more active. Um, so I don't know. It's a couple of things that make me feel like Faraziam is going to win, but normally I go with the finisher. But in this particular instance, I can't do that because it just feels like this guy is not taking his career seriously. Oh, let me not even say that. I think he was out because of injury, but that in itself also is not a good sign. But normally, people come back from injuries and actually go on to perform significantly well, especially if you are under the age of 35. Like, if you come back from an injury and you're like 34, 35, your career is over. But if you come back from an injury and you're like 32, 33, I think there's still hope for your career. So I think Mike Davis is still young to come back and look good. But like I said, I feel like Faraziam has faced better competition. Technically, he's the better striker. He's the better fighter, to be honest. Um, and he's faced better competition. The only thing that I have going for Mike Davis is his finishing abilities, and I can't just pick him because I feel like he has the probability of finishing a fight. It's gonna be close. I'm definitely worried about Fareziam, but yeah, in all honesty, I don't know. I feel like Fareziam has the tools to win. Just that people who finish fights are very aggressive, and aggressive fighters normally win decisions as long as they don't run out of cardio, and that's one of the things I'm worried about. Mike Davis might probably be a little bit more aggressive, while Fareziam is trying to look um, pretty, basically, for lack of a better word. Trying to pick apart Mike Davis, while Mike Davis basically, pressures and lands more significantly and ultimately ends up getting the decision. But I'm sticking with my pick of Faraziam. I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Let me respond to your comments before I proceed. I think there will be, um, let me see. I think there will be 4 to 5 upsets on this card. I mean, it's possible. It's possible. As long as it's not the people I picked. I mean, as long as it's not the people I picked who lose, then I'm okay with it. Um, Raj, Fares is the underdog, isn't he? Yeah, Fares is the underdog. Um, Arian Azvara. In my country, there is a Muay Thai fighter with a record 41-1 and lost in the selection for UFC series contender. Yeah, maybe he hasn't been fighting the best competition. I mean, you can fight 41 people and beat them, but if those people haven't been training properly, then they're probably gonna lose. Rainy MMA, your opinion on Shara versus MVP? I'm coming to that particular fight. Um, I'm almost there. So, do I think an upset is possible here between Fares Ziam and Mike Davis? Yeah, I think so. Well, obviously, I picked Fares Ziam, so definitely I think an upset is possible. Because Fares Ziam is the underdog. In my head, I thought Fares Ziam is the favorite. So yeah, an upset is definitely possible. On to the next one. Saeed Nomagomedov versus Vinicius Oliveira. Whew. My subscribers and I went with Saeed Nomagomedov. Saeed Nomagomedov is the favorite at minus 185. Vinicius Oliveira is the underdog at plus 150. Do I think an upset is possible? Yeah, yeah. I almost picked Vinicius Oliveira because I don't know, man. I think he's good. Um, but the reason I ended up going with, and I'm not going to even lie to you guys, when I was doing my prediction analysis, when I came to this fight, I spent so much time on it because I didn't know who to go with. Because the fight for me is even, right? The only reason, and I'm not even going to lie to you guys, the only reason I went with Saeed Nomagomedov is because I know that he trains with Habib, and I know that Habib has one of the most incredible ethics as far as training. A lot of his athletes are incredible talent. So that's basically one of the few reasons, not even few, one of the main reasons, because the fight is even. So the deciding factor for me was who is probably going to be a little bit more prepared. Um, I'm from South Africa, guys. Sorry. I hope I didn't disturb the sound. I'm from South Africa. So I feel like I wouldn't be shocked if Vinicius Oliveira actually won this particular fight because I almost picked him. I don't want to lie. I almost picked Vinicius Oliveira. So yeah. So far, the underdogs. I don't know if they are underdogs. Well, I'd say the underdogs that I'm worried about so far. It's going to be Vinicius Oliveira, Thomas Peterson, and Lucas Alexander. Yeah, they worry me a lot, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. So yeah, do I think an upset is possible here? Yeah, very highly possible. An upset is highly possible. Um, which scares me a lot, but yeah, it is what it is. Um, on to the next one. I'll respond to everyone. I'm almost done. Once I'm done, I'll respond to everyone. I just want to finish up and then we can have a conversation before I leave. So yeah, an upset is definitely possible. On to the next one. Sorry. Sergey Pavlovich versus Jairzinho Rosenstrike. Sergey Pavlovich is the favorite at minus 300. Rosenstrike is the underdog at plus 240. My subscribers and I went with Sergey Pavlovich. Do I think an upset is possible? Whew. Let's see. Let's see. This is a tricky one, but I don't know, man. I mean, what do you call him? Jairzinho or Rosenstrike is obviously going to be the more technical striker. But I mean, Sergey Pavlovich has the reach advantage, has the power between the both of them. And I don't think cardio is going to be that much of an issue for Rosenstrike. For Shamil, I mean, not Shamil, for Sergey Pavlovich, right? So I've been picking against Sergey Pavlovich for his last two fights. I picked against him when he fought Tom Aspinall. People called me crazy. He lost. I picked Alexander Volkov when he fought him, instead of Sergey Pavlovich, and then Pavlovich lost. So far, I've been good at predicting Sergey Pavlovich fights. This is probably going to be the first time picking him. Yeah, since because the only pick I got wrong about Sergey Pavlovich was when he fought Curtis Blades, but I mean Curtis Blades made a stupid decision. And obviously my prediction strategy was a little bit different back then. But yeah, I've been able to predict Sergey Pavlovich's fights pretty decently. I don't know, man. I feel like Sergey is going to have the reach advantage. He's going to have the power. I think he has a bit of accuracy. As far as defensively, when it comes to striking, I feel like it's even. And if in terms of striking, it's even, then I'm obviously going to favor the person who has the reach advantage, which is Sergey. On top of that, the person who has the reach advantage also happens to have the power, which is Sergey. So I think Sergey is going to win, but I'm not going to sit here and say an upset is not possible. But I feel if I were to put a percentage on my confidence level as far as whether or not the Sergey wins, I'd say I don't know. I'd say maybe I'm 60%. That's not much, but it's something. I'd say I'm 60% or 65%. Sergey Pavlovich wins. I mean, because Jairzinho Rosenstrike is a really good technical striker, so I can't discredit that or ignore that. So I'm going to conclude and say an upset is definitely possible here. On to the next one: Sharamagomedov versus Michael Venom Page. Sharamagomedov is the favorite at minus 185. Michael Venom Page is the underdog at plus 155. My subscribers and I went with Sharamagomedov. Do I think an upset is possible? Yeah. Whew. This was another one that was very difficult to pick and predict. Um, an upset is definitely possible here. Michael Venom Page is one of the most talented strikers I've ever seen. Dare I say, I think he's a little bit more talented as far as striking than Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, in my opinion. Right? You are free to disagree with that. But the thing is, here he was unable to finish Kevin Holland, right? And I respect Kevin Holland's ability to as a fighter, but Kevin Holland is not fully, invested in his career, and you couldn't finish Kevin Holland, and that's not a good sign. Um, Especially when MVP had the reach advantage, like everything was in his favor to some extent. Obviously, Kevin Holland has faced a little bit better competition, but nonetheless, like you can't, with such striking abilities, you can't finish Kevin Holland. I mean, that's bad. I mean, Reina de Ridder just finished Kevin Holland. That granted, I know it's because that's Kevin Holland's. Okay, let me not criticize his lack of ability to finish Kevin Holland because even Jack Delamera Lena was unable to finish Kevin Holland. So maybe I'm being too hard on MVP. But still, man, being unable to finish Kevin Holland is a problem for me. Number two, I feel like Michael Venom Page is going to be a little bit undersized at middleweight. Um, I think he's going to be a little bit smaller than Sharamagomedov. Um, and people forget that Sharamagomedov actually started his career as a kickboxer. So we're not talking about some dude who started doing MMA as a whole. Can wrestle a bit, can strike a bit. He's not particularly good at anything, but he's good at everything. We're not talking about that kind of a person. We're talking about a striker. So I don't know, man. I feel like Sharamagomedov is going to be. Let me see. It's going to have power. I think Michael Venom Page obviously is going to have the reach advantage. Um, as far as striking, who do I think is going to have the advantage? You know what? I also wouldn't be surprised if Shara Magomedov actually shot a takedown, because of the two, I feel like Shara has been working very hard on his takedown defense, and it seems improved. And because of that, I feel like his offensive grappling is going to be significantly better than um, maybe potentially anyone that MVP has ever faced, at least in the UFC. I think. I don't know what I'm saying, but still, of the two, I feel like Sharamagomedov is going to be the better grappler, to be honest. But I don't think it's going to ever go to the ground. So let me give my opinion on who's going to win the striking exchanges. I don't know, man. It's gonna be hard to say. To be honest, I'm only picking Sharamagomedov, to be honest, because number one, people are being too hard on Sharamagomedov because of the fact that, oh my God, it took him 3 rounds to finish Antonio Trocoli. Did you see the size of Antonio Trocoli, guys? Like, dealing with that kind of reach advantage, and it's a universally known fact that whenever you're fighting a wrestler or someone with a wrestling ability, especially who also has a height advantage, it's gonna be very difficult for you to actually be yourself as a striker. I've went on record in the past and said I think Sharamagomedov is a better striker, and I know a lot of people are going to call me a casual for saying this, even though my prediction accuracy is over 70%. In 2015, in 2024, last year, even though my prediction accuracy was high, but I'm still going to be called a casual. But I've said this multiple times before. Shara Magomedov is a more technical striker than Israel Adesanya and Alex Pereira. The difference between Alex Pereira and Shara Magomedov is Alex Pereira has power. But when we talk about dynamic striking and technical striking, I think Shara Magomedov is significantly better, right? So because there won't be any threat of a takedown, I think Shara, now coming to think of it, I think Shara Magomedov might have the advantage. Here's why. MVP largely uses his hands in order to actually win fights. Um, we'll have a conversation about that. Let me just finish. I think now coming to think of it, Sharamagomedov uses his legs a lot, and legs have a higher reach than arms do. I feel like MVP is successful predominantly with his hands. Obviously, he occasionally uses his legs, but so far, what I've seen from MVP is that he's had the most success with his head movement as well as his hands. It's hardly ever his legs that win in fights. It has happened before, but predominantly he uses his hands. From what I've seen so far, Sharamagomedov uses primarily his legs to strike, which means it's going to be very difficult for MVP to get into a space whereby he can land anything significant that can hurt Shara Magomedov. But Shara, because of his legs, he's going to be able to reach MVP. On top of that, he's going to have, obviously, he's fighting in Saudi Arabia. If it goes to a decision, unfortunately, home ground advantage. I think Shara Magomedov is going to be a little bit bigger than MVP. He's moving up, so that probably counts in some way. And lastly, I don't know, man. I just feel like Shara is a little bit more dynamic. I respect MVP's head movement, but at the age of 35, I think now MVP is like 36 or 37, something like that. I know it's middleweight, but the middleweight is not light heavyweight. You know, if MVP, if this fight was happening in light heavyweight, I'd say yeah, yeah, maybe the age thing does not count as much. But in middleweight, it takes away a little bit of your speed. Not all of it, but it takes away a little bit of your speed. And I don't like the age for MVP, unfortunately. So it's a couple of little things that I feel like are going to contribute to actually helping Shara Magomedov win. But I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm confident that Shara is going to win because these fighters are really probably some of the best strikers in the UFC. In my opinion, probably top four. Yeah, let me just say top four best strikers in the UFC currently. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. So an upset is definitely possible here, but I think Sharamagomedov is going to win. Um, Mainly because he's going to be using his legs. MVP is going to be using his arms. Legs have a longer reach than arms, right? So I think Shara is going to be, even if they outpoint each other, it's going to probably be Shara with his leg kicks, whether to the head, to the body, to the legs, wherever he tries to land. I think he's going to have a little bit more success than MVP, who's probably going to play outside the range and try to come in to land. But fighting someone who's primarily using his legs is going to be really difficult to actually land on his face, right? Especially because he knows even if he throws a leg kick to your head or a head kick, he's not going to be taken down. So he's going to do that with confidence. So I'm going Shara Magomedov. On to the next one. Israel Adesanya versus Nassourdine Imavov. My subscribers went with Israel Adesanya. I went with Nassourdine Imavov. Israel Adesanya is the favorite at minus 180. Imavov is the underdog at plus 150. Do I think an upset is possible? I mean, I picked Nassourdine Imavov. I actually didn't think I would pick Nassourdine Imavov. I came into this particular prediction thinking, oh my goodness, Israel Adesanya looked insanely good against Dricus du Plessis. Even though I picked the Dricus du Plessis, I can't deny the fact that I was worried when I was watching that fight. I was like, oh my god, Israel Adesanya is looking good. And then he got taken down and submitted. And I was like, yay, I'm right. Yeah, I agree. I'm about to respond to everyone in the comments, by the way. So please let me just finish up this particular fight because I need to explain why I'm picking Imavov. So I picked Imavov to be honest because I think he's going to be better everywhere. Sadly, um, Israel Adesanya is past his prime. His fighting abilities relied heavily on speed. He's 35 years old right now, I think going on 36 if I'm not mistaken. Speed is no longer going to be his advantage. He's not a young guy anymore. He's not going to be able to move the way he normally does. And I'm saying this because I know, I did say this. That's why it was important to say he looked good against Dricus du Plessis, but Dricus du Plessis is not the most technical striker, to be honest, right? Dricus du Plessis is an unorthodox fighter, basically. Anything can happen when you're fighting him, and which makes him unpredictable, which is his asset as a fighter. But it doesn't necessarily mean that Israel Adesanya looking good against him, then it means that he can look the same way against someone who is decent at striking because Nassourdine Imavov is not a horrible striker. Imavov is a good striker, and the mere fact that he was able to deal with Brandon Allen's wrestling shows you that this is probably going to be one of the most difficult matchups that Israel Adesanya probably is going to ever have. Because I think Nassourdine Imavov has almost an equal amount of striking abilities as Israel Adesanya. But between the two, in a kickboxing match, obviously, I think I would favor Israel Adesanya. But Nassourdine Imavov can actually submit Israel Adesanya. It's no coincidence that after Israel Adesanya hit the age of 35, all of a sudden he gets submitted for the first time. All of a sudden, Sean Strickland somehow manages to get the upset. It's not necessarily because Israel Adesanya is not necessarily a good fighter. he relied heavily on speed. And as you get older, that's how life works. Those advantages go away. It's the same with Colby Covington. He's like, yeah, I was going to win and all these type of things, but your cardio worked when you were younger. You're no longer young, so that advantage is gone. It's like Anderson Silva. Those flashy moves worked when you were young. You know, your body can move like that. You have the cardio, you have the flexibility to do certain things. Once you get to a certain age, those things no longer work the same way. And I feel that's the point where Israel Adesanya is. I think Nassourdine Imavov is going to be able to mix up everything. Um, if it doesn't work on the feet, which I feel like he can actually compete with Israel Adesanya, especially because of the threat of the takedown. I think it's going to open up striking opportunities. We might even see Imavov actually outstriking Israel Adesanya because of the threat of the takedown. Because Nassourdine Imavov is not like, okay, he's decent on the ground, he's good on the ground, right? So the threat of the takedown will always be there. So Israel Adesanya is going to fight differently when he fights this guy. It happens to every single striker. If you find someone who can wrestle, they can outstrike you. Look at Habib. Habib Nurmagomedov had success with some of the best strikers in the UFC, largely because they were fighting with that he's about to take me down in mind, and they know that if he takes me down, I don't think I'm going to be able to get up, right? And even if I'm able to get up, he's going to gas me out. So I need to avoid getting taken down. So some of the things that you normally do as a striker, you avoid them because it opens you up to being taken down. So you alter your strategy as a striker, which is what normally happens in the majority of fights when people fight wrestlers, which is what I think is going to happen. Look at Jan Blachowicz. Jan Blachowicz is more or less an older version and maybe with a little bit more power of Imavov. But Imavov has better wrestling than Jan Blachowicz, and Jan Blachowicz was able to have success against Israel Adesanya. Obviously, granted, Jan Blachowicz was bigger than Israel Adesanya, so maybe the weight advantage came into um, play. But we have to also take into consideration that Israel Adesanya was unable to move. Until that point, no one had ever done that to Israel Adesanya on the ground, right? So another thing, people have this misconception of Israel Adesanya being a cardio machine or whatever the case is. In my prediction, when I picked Dricus Duplessis, I said this. I said this fight is flipping close, but there's something that happens to Israel Adesanya in the fourth and fifth round. He loses, like that's where, if you are going to beat Israel Adesanya, save your cardio for the fourth and fifth round. He's going to gas out. People don't see it because he picks you apart and he's able to frustrate you, and you're going to be able to make mistakes because you are behind on the scoreboard. It didn't work with Alex Pereira because Alex Pereira knew I have power and I have technique, so I can finish this guy. And obviously, he had a lot of pressure to say, if I lose to this guy, like he would be like, there were a couple of things that played into that. But the technique of Alex Pereira, if you look at the times that Israel Adesanya has lost a fight, he's lost the fight in the fourth and fifth round for the most part. Right? Look at the Jan Blachowicz fight. In the beginning of the fight, Jan Blachowicz was unsuccessful at taking him down. But in the later rounds, I think it started in round number three, if I'm not mistaken, he was able to have a little bit more success with taking down Israel Adesanya. I can only count the losses of Israel Adesanya in the UFC. Dricus Duplessis submitted Israel Adesanya in the fourth round. Um, Alex Pereira knocked him, TKO'd him in the fifth round. Jan Blachowicz started having success in the third, fourth round as far as taking him down. So if you look at the losses that he's had, it's in the later rounds. It's not early. So I think Imavov will have the better cardio, especially if he tries to wrestle, right? But even if the fight stays standing, I feel like everything that used to make Israel Adesanya special is slowly going away with age, unfortunately. Um, I think Nassourdine Imavov, people were calling me crazy when I was picking Anthony Fluffy Hernandez over Michel Pereira, and Hernandez just ragdolled Michel Pereira because up until that point, Michel Pereira was this unstoppable. Um, Let me cook. What up, my guy? What up, my guy? Haven't seen you in a while. I'm going to live stream the fight tomorrow, so I hope to see you then. So, in conclusion, I feel like I don't know, man. I feel like Nassourdine Imavov is going to do significantly well. I think he's going to shock a lot of people. It's not because Israel Adesanya is washed up. It's part of it, but I still feel like Israel Adesanya is decent. I think he would have a shot at winning this fight if it was maybe 3 years ago. But right now, what made him special is going away because of age, unfortunately. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see if I'm wrong or not. But I'm pretty confident that Nassourdine Imavov is going to win. Confident enough to say Nassourdine Imavov is going to be one of my locks for this particular card. So let's go through my locks. My locks are Nassourdine Imavov, Mohamed Naimov, Terence McKinney, and who? Let me see. Let me see. Is it these three? Yeah, I think these are the only people I feel confident will win. Yeah, it's going to be Nassourdine Imavov, Mohamed Naimov, and Terence McKinney. Sadly, um, short McGee, my guy. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me go back to the top and respond to the people who took time to actually engage me. Um, let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Damn, you guys sent a lot of messages. I hope I'm able to finish in time. um, but to everyone who doesn't know this, I live stream. So if you're watching the fight live, join me. The conversation is really nice. I enjoyed it last time. There wasn't a lot of people on the stream, which I didn't mind that as much because the stream right now is on like 1.1 thousand. So it doesn't really matter even if there's like five of you in the stream. I I started this channel because I wanted to have a relationship with someone who enjoys MMA the way I do, and that's why I built a community of 14,000, which is crazy and growing really fast. Um, Let me see. I think I found where I ended. Let me see your opinion on Sharon. Where are you from? I'm from South Africa, bro. Where are you from? South Africa, my guy. I think Saudi Said Subs Oliveira Sopaj was beating him on short notice before the KO. Ah, I'm not so sure, man. Even in the past when it wasn't Vinicius Oliveira, there were times where I almost picked the other guy. I'm not sure if I'm remembering this correctly. Okay, let me not even contradict myself, but still, I'm not very sure. I'm not very confident in Said Nomagomedov actually winning this fight, but we'll see. Do you support DDP? Be honest. Support? I don't know what you mean. You know what? Here's my take on Dricus Duplessis. Right, we're both from South Africa. Um, so far, maybe he supports small creators in South Africa. Unfortunately, I haven't been one of those people because before Dricus Duplessis became a champion, I went to his gym. We actually even I came up with the idea. I suggested, "Oh, you know what? I'm good with film production and all those type of things. For those who want to see what I can do, go watch the Combat Sports Awards. I'm good with editing, producing, and everything like that. It's on the homepage of the channel. So I went to Dricus Duplessis' gym, right, and I had a conversation with his manager, And they were like, no, come through. And then there was even an opportunity. They were like, we want to start this social media thing. And we had a lengthy conversation. And they were like, no, draft a proposal and then we'll take it from there. Unfortunately, we met a day before Dricus Duplessis won the title. And ever since, they've ghosted me, right? And which is fine. But I don't know, man. It doesn't feel like I get the support. So I don't know why I should give it to some extent. Obviously, because of patriotism, I want my country to succeed, and I want Dricus Duplessis to be successful. Because he's my countryman, and I'm not going to even be biased. As far as the racial things, I mean, that's a whole different thing. To me, honestly, let me give you my opinion. I get a lot of racist comments on this particular channel. They don't affect me that much because I understand that people around the world will hate you for anything. Racism happens to be one of them. So people of the same color can hate each other. So if someone of another color hates me because I'm black, I mean, f them. Like it's not gonna take up any time in my life. So I don't really care that much about racism as long as it doesn't affect me. If you want to be racist, do it on your own time. Don't let it affect me, right? I don't want to know that you're racist. I mean, that's something you chose on your own. So for me, I don't give racism too much attention as long as it doesn't affect my ability to make money. So as far as the racial things, I don't go too much into them. I just feel like there should be some level, especially because I'm not just a small channel. Like right now, I have like 14,000 subscribers. That's why I ended up ultimately taking the decision that I'm not, even as I grow, even if the opportunities to interview fighters come, maybe I'll take them, but I'm not going to actively pursue interviews. I'm going to make sure that I create content that makes you wish you could be a part of this channel. Obviously, right now I'm not monetized, so the things that I want to do, I'm unable to do right now, but I'm close to being monetized, and I'm going to do all those things. Like I said, I'm very good at producing, so I'm going to produce content that I feel like my aim for this channel is to create things that are going to make you want to be part of it if you're not part of it, right? So that's how I view it. I don't dislike him. I don't like him particularly, to be honest. I'm neutral, to be honest. I'm indifferent. Yeah, I'm indifferent. I don't have any type of particular feeling towards him, but I just felt like it was sad. That's the right word, because we had a really nice conversation. And then after he became a champion, it was like, oh, they're too big for me. So it's cool. I'll get there. I'll get there. I'm building, and I'll get to 1 million subscribers, and I'll also be too big for him because unfortunately, for him, his career will end around 35 years old, 36 years old. My career online can last me even until I'm like 45 years old. And when I'm interviewing veterans, I might decide to not bring him on, but that would be petty. I'm just saying. So support me when you're still on top so that I can support you when I'm on top. Anyway, that's my emotion. That's my view on Drake. Is racially, I honestly don't give a f. Like, if you dislike me, don't make it your problem. Um, you can hate me on your own time. Just don't involve me in your hate for me, right? I didn't ask you to hate me, so that's your problem. But as far as the thing of me wanting him to be a champion, to support him, and all those type of things, it's only because he's South African. Nothing beyond that. I don't feel like I was treated nicely. You see, if it was difficult for me to reach Dricus Duplessis, I wouldn't have a problem with it. I mean, I'd be like, he probably gets like 1 million messages, to work with him or to come for an interview or whatever the case is. But I actually was there. I saw some of the people who train with, like, let me not go in too deep, but yeah, I'm indifferent. Just in conclusion, I'm indifferent. I hope that answers your question. Why B70? I feel like the whole Nomagomedov thing will. will see its downfall and have counters one day. Back in the day, there were the Gracies, and look at them now. We've already seen Umar lose. I don't know, man. In my opinion, I still feel like the only person who can beat Umar who can beat Merab right now is Umar. There's no one else who's going to be able to do it. In all honesty, um, the only thing that I feel like Umar did, even if he broke his hand, I don't think that's a problem. I think he ran out of cardio, or rather, he ran out of stamina, whatever it is. So I think he needs to work on his cardio because that fight, he was winning that fight had it not been for cardio. And even if that fight had played out that way, I feel like Merab's antics made it seem like, oh my god, he's winning the fight because Merab looked active in the fight. He was doing funny things, so it makes it seem like, oh my god, he's clowning him. He's winning the fight, even if maybe he wasn't. Because of those things, you automatically assume, yeah, he's winning. If you take away that, and let's say, um, what do you call him? Merab was just fighting normal, and he wasn't doing any of that. I can guarantee you, Umar probably might have won that fight, but because objectively, Merab was doing all these things. He was moving around, he was clowning him, he was playing basically with him. Objectively, it doesn't look good, even if he's not really hurting him that much. But because he's playing with him, it's like like he can't do anything to me. That's why I'm playing with him. So it makes it look like he's dominating. But that fight was really close, in my opinion. Obviously, Umar won the first two rounds. He started to slow down in the third, and Merab took over. I don't see anyone beating Merab unless they wait until Merab is old. That's the only time they're going to be able to beat Merab, to be honest. Merab has to be like 35, and then that's when they can be like, it's time. Someone is going to beat him. But I don't see anyone in the bantamweight division beating Merab except Umar. Who is going to do it? Davison Figueiredo? Hell no. Oh, who? Peter Yan is already lost to him, if I'm not mistaken. Who else? Cody Sanhagen. I mean, he lost to Umar. I mean, it's not MMA match, but if the guy who beat you, who clearly lost to this particular guy, like, there's no way you're going to do better, especially when this guy is also good at wrestling. You just learned, like, his teammate actually submitted you a couple of years ago. Henry Cejudo, no. Song Dong, no. Like, there's not that many people who I feel like they're going to beat Marab. So it's going to be Umar, to be honest. But as far as the Gracies and the Nomagomerovs, I wouldn't compare them to the Gracies because the Gracies were good at finishing fights, and that's the difference with the Nomagomerovs. You don't have to finish a fight with them. You can control them. It's like they mixed wrestling with submission abilities, right? So I don't know if it's gonna end. I think the day people find answers for wrestling in general, that's when maybe the Nomagomerovs might have a problem. Because wrestling, if you can have some type of a counter for wrestling, then you are probably going to have success. Because unfortunately, Islam and Umar and Usman are not Habib. You know, Habib, it doesn't matter how good you are at wrestling, Habib was going to be able to out wrestle you. It's like Hamza Chimaev. There's a certain level of wrestling that a few people are able to get to. And so far, I think it's Hamza Chimaev and Habib who have been able to touch that above average wrestling ability, right? Islam is not that great at wrestling. He's good. Let me not say he's not that great. Let me say Islam is great at wrestling. He's not special, right? Habib is special. Chimaev is special. Islam is just good. Umar is just good. Like, I would even argue that Islam is a little bit better or a lot better than Umar, but Nonetheless, they are not Habib. Like Habib in that, like, if let's say Umar and Habib were the same height and size, Habib would have submitted Marab a long time ago. So unfortunately, you can't transfer talent. You can only teach what you know, but there are certain things, even fight IQ, that's where talent comes into play because you are able to do things that not anyone can do. And that's why even everyone knows that Hamza is going to try to take you down, but it's very difficult for anyone to do anything about it. The only time, and even Gilbert Burns, he was able to take him down, but he didn't engage with Gilbert Burns because obviously Gilbert Burns is a world jiu-jitsu champion, so it's not worth the risk to actually try to grapple with him. But nonetheless, if he wants to take you down, he's going to take you down. So unfortunately, they're not Habib, but I think it's gonna be a while before anyone actually figures out how to deal with their grappling, right? They're not just coming in there and sliding on the floor with their butt trying to get a submission. They're actually using striking to actually create openings to get to the ground. So yeah, on to the next one. Um, Rosenstrike can definitely win this, but I'm leaning Sergey. Yeah, I also agree. That's why I was like, I'm 60%. Did I say 60? 60, 65. 65% sure that Sergey actually wins this fight. I don't want to say 70 because it feels too confident. So I'll stop at 65. So I'm not heavily confident, but I think Shamil Gaziev is definitely going to win this one. Um, YB70 Sergey is on a two-fight losing streak. And I was able to predict those fights accurately and correctly. Black Swordsman Rose can win by decision. I don't know, man. I feel like Sergey Pavlovich is going to win the first two rounds. Maybe Rosenstrike can win the third round, but even if I don't think Sergey is going to gas out. He was able to fight decently against Alexander Volkov, and Alexander Volkov had the striking ability that gave Cyril Gane problems. So if Sergey Pavlovich was able to survive against someone who gave problems to Cyril Gane is probably one of the most talented strikers in the heavyweight division, and Alexander Volkov actually arguably won that fight, right? And it wasn't. I think everyone was not on the edge of their seat when he was fighting Cyril Gane, but when Sergey was fighting Alexander Volkov, everyone, especially me, even though I picked Alexander Volkov, I was like, Sergey has the ability to end the fight at any moment, right? So there wasn't that threat with Cyril Gane. So I felt like his performance against Alexander Volkov makes me feel like he's going to be able to neutralize um, Rosenstrike's kickboxing abilities, right? And essentially, it's going to come down to reach and power, which obviously Sergey has. So I think Sergey is going to win, even if it goes to a decision. I think Sergey is going to be able to win the first two rounds at least. Sergey win be almost beat Volkov. Yeah, yeah, I agree. But he didn't almost beat Volkov, but I agree that he wins. YB70 Sergey, I got dominated by Volkov and knocked out by Aspinall. Yeah, but those are good fighters, man. Erin Asvara, finally, fighters that I know. YB Shara versus MVP is a tough fight to predict the outcome of. Yeah, it's very hard, man. Pause. Black Swordsman, but Shara has no mustache. What does a mustache have to do with anything? Um, Erlen, MVP win via two. Y'all are very cruel, man. YB. Oh yeah, I have a point. He didn't finish Holland. Yeah, yeah. It didn't finish Holland, but I mean, Jack Della Maddalena was unable to finish Holland, so I feel like maybe I was being too hard on him. Um, Shara definitely better striker than Holland. Yeah, significantly, significantly. Rainy MMA. Kevin has underrated chin. Yeah, yeah, because Wonder Boy hit him with a lot of bad things, and he still was able to hang in there. But he's not taking his career seriously. So anyone who's unable to finish him is a bit sus to me. Even Jack Della Maddalena at this point is sus because you're like, how can you not finish Kevin Holland? Raj, it's very hard to finish Kevin Holland standing up. Yeah, I agree. Black Swordsman, shout out winning this, boys. I'm with you, my guy. Erlan, bruh, I almost forgot that Kevin Holland the fight. Kevin Holland, no grappling, no striking, no wheeling. Yeah, that's why I get tired when someone can't finish him. Has Kevin Holland been knocked out though? Not that I know of. I don't remember. He's been submitted, but I can't remember anyone who's ever knocked him out. Yeah, no, I don't think there's anyone who's knocked him out. As far as my memory serves me. Berko MVP will win. I mean, it's possible, but I feel like Shara has a higher probability of winning. Black Horseman, Gary won. Also, MVP was not much impressive. Yeah, I forgot about Ian Gary. But I mean, Ian Gary wrestled, which basically won't be a problem in this particular fight. So that will change the striking dynamics. Berko, easy, Sergey, and MVP will win. Okay, we'll see, my guy. I don't think Izzy and MVP will win, but I guess we'll see. Erlan, I initially chose MVP, but changed the bullet because of Kevin Holland. Riley, I like your take. I appreciate that, my guy. I put in a lot of work on my predictions for you guys. Black Swordsman, correct. Thank you. Erlan, this Zulu Unk is legit expert. How old are you, dude? Like, this is the first time I've ever been called an Unk. I'm 32, turning 33 this year. Yeah, I'm really old, man. But this is the first time I've ever been called an Unk. I'm not Zulu, guys. I know Zulu is the popular tribe in South Africa worldwide, but I'm Tswana. Yeah, ke Motswana. So there's a tribe in South Africa called Tswana, Batswana. I fall under that tribe. But the Zulus are part of a different tribe. So there are a couple of tribes in South Africa. That's why it's called the Rainbow Nation. It has nothing to do with homosexuality. It has everything to do with the fact that there's a blend of different cultures that live in one particular space. So I'm Tswana, not Zulu. So just for future reference. Hope I see you guys on the live stream. By the way, um, when but again, watch along. Last time I streamed for like 8 hours. It was tiring but fun. Anyway, Riley. Dang, that's wild, bro. I think you were reacting to me saying Sharamagomedov is probably a little bit better at striking than Israel Adesanya and Alex Pereira. For me, Alex Pereira, obviously, with the power, is going to be better. He can knock you out. So automatically, that eliminates every other thing that you're good at. Because you can say it's wild, but if you consider it, Alex Pereira was losing to Israel Adesanya the first time, right? Israel Adesanya was winning the first fight up until Alex Pereira knocked him out. So technically, Israel Adesanya is the better striker between both Alex Pereira and Israel Adesanya. The difference is Adesanya does not have finishing abilities. Well, he does, but Pereira has a higher finishing ability. So if you're going to argue that, you have to first accept the fact that Israel Adesanya was beating Alex Pereira up until the fifth round, the first fight. And even then in the second round, Israel Adesanya obviously won, but I'm not going to use that because it didn't get to the final rounds. But Israel Adesanya was winning the first fight. So when we talk about technique, between the both of them, Israel Adesanya is better. But between Israel Adesanya and Shara Magomedov, I think Shara Magomedov is the better striker. But yeah, it doesn't really matter because as long as I can knock you out, I mean, you can be as technical as you want to be. I'll have the belt and the money and the fans because when you knock people out, fans don't care about the technique in today's time, except when it comes to wrestling. Even though the majority of the MMA fan base somehow hates wrestling, but if you find two talented grapplers, they fall in love with it. Like, look at Movza Evloev versus Aljamain Sterling. People were like, it's a snooze fest. It's going to be boring. It's going to be this. It's going to be that. But after that fight, the people were actually saluting Aljamain Sterling. People were actually even nicer to Movza Evloev because that was one of the most technical grappling fights we've ever seen in a very long time. When it comes to striking, technical striking is what do you call it? What's the correct term? Technical striking is touching someone up, in my opinion, right? Unless you're talking about people with finishing ability or power. There's a difference between a slugfest and a technical striking match. A technical striking match is Israel Adesanya fighting Israel Adesanya. There's not going to be a lot of damage dealt, but you're going to see some of the most beautiful striking you've ever seen. However, no, I'm actually lying. A technical striking match would be Shara Magomedov versus Israel Adesanya. The difference is Shara has finishing abilities, so it won't necessarily be a technical fight, in my opinion. I think Shara Magomedov has the ability to actually beat the living crap out of Israel Adesanya in his prime. I'm not talking about Israel Adesanya now. If Israel Adesanya and Shara Magomedov met in Israel's prime, I think Shara would have beaten the living crap out of him. But and I used to be, and I still am a little bit of an Israel Adesanya fan. And by the way, before I forget, you remember what I was talking about when I was speaking about Dricus Duplessis? I saw Israel Adesanya on a podcast with this Nigerian dude. He's not known, but it shows he's supporting like local people and all those type of things. The only things that I've seen Dricus Duplessis on is like national broadcasters, basically. Anyway, that's the 2 cents I wanted to add. So Riley, yeah, I think I explained why I think it's better. Raj Zulu Ang is crazy. I'm not crazy. Riley, woo, that's a tiny preemptive, but you're right. You said it first, so hell yeah. Airline, shush, let the Zulu Ang explain the car. Oh, this is so fun to read, man. Raj, I think Shara will win because I don't see MVP KOing him and he won't win the decision in Abu Dhabi. Yeah, I agree. Erlan, Shara win because MVP already old. Wish him all the best. Yeah, that's part of it. It's like Israel Adesanya. Israel Adesanya relies heavily on his speed in order to be as technical and evasive as he has been for the majority of his career in the UFC. But unfortunately, father time comes for all of us, and it's knocking on the door for Israel Adesanya. Erlan MVP wasted his career in Bellator for too long. I agree. I think he would have been a much better fighter, potentially even a champion. But I mean, who knows? He might have ended up like Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, barely making it, but still being somewhere around the top. Um, Retro, what do you think of Mike Davis under 65 significant strikes? I don't know, man. It's hard to say, but 69 is too little, especially for lower weight classes. 69 is too low. Like the output is normally really high. So I don't know. I don't. That's one of the reasons why I made sure my subscribers are the ones who predict um, fights as far as who's going to get finished in what round. It's because I know for a fact that it takes too much time for me to predict a round. There are certain fights whereby I'm confident that okay, this is going to end in this round, based on what I've seen. But there are some fighters who are very difficult to predict, especially when they haven't faced the higher level competition. This is one of those fights, and especially because Mike Davis hasn't been so too active, he might come back and just throw 100 punches, or 100 strikes in total. So it's hard to actually say. Black Swordsman, Imavov gas tank. I think Imavov has decent. If you were to ask me who has a better gas tank between Israel Adesanya and Imavov, I'd go for Imavov. Imavov is an underrated counter striker. To be honest, it's Raj saying that. I agree. I agree. That's why I say even on the feet, I wouldn't be too worried about Imavov. Obviously, Israel Adesanya has the power between the both of them. I mean, it's sad, but I mean, if anyone is going to drop anyone, I think it's probably going to be Israel Adesanya dropping Imavov. Why is the sun doing this? So, so yeah, um, easy win via melanin. Wow, that's wild, man. Let me see. Raj, and he has a solid ground game as well. I think this fight goes the distance. Easy guesses out, man. I think there's a probability it gets finished again, unfortunately. And if he gets finished, I think Israel Adesanya might retire. I want Izzy back on top, but man, Imavov looked really ready for war. Yeah, same here because, like I said, Israel Adesanya looked good against Dricus Duplessis, but on the other hand, it was Dricus Duplessis. He's one of the most unpredictable fighters. So even if you look good against him, it doesn't really mean that much because Robert Whittaker also looked good against him, and he still lost. The only person that I feel like gave him didn't look as good was Sean Strickland. So it probably means that Strickland is going to lose that fight, even though I haven't done proper predictions. But the only person who hasn't looked good against Dricus Duplessis is Sean Strickland. But Robert Whittaker looked good against Dricus Duplessis. Israel Adesanya looked good against Dricus Duplessis until they both lost. So Strickland is the only one. Um, Erlan, none of these French fighters are French if I look at them. Even BSD ones are a mix of Algerians. Yeah, France has that thing, even their soccer players, you see them looking like an African team, but you're like, oh. I think there was actually even, was it France? I think it was France when France won the World Cup, if I'm not mistaken, or something like that. And then there was a debate as to like, did France win or did Africa win? Because like the entire team, and there was this whole debate about yeah, you're taking away their Frenchness by saying that and all of that. But France has that thing of having other countries win things for them in a sense. No shade, by the way. It's just based on observation. Um, Massimo Masarana. Your names, guys, are hard to pronounce. I apologize if I'm messing up your names. Massimo. Mike Davis shot up by decision. Imavov to win a parlay that. I mean, I'm worried about Mike Davis, so I guess. Andre Tiedo. Yeah, I feel the same. Imavov is more well rounded. Yep. What do you think of Mike Davis under 6.5 significant strikes? Why are people actually basically putting him at 69 strikes? It's hard. He hasn't been active, so he can come back looking a little bit different. But maybe, but 69 it sounds like it's too little, man. Especially because I don't think Fares Ziam is going to finish him, so it's probably going to be 3 rounds. And for me to actually think that that fight is going to go 3 rounds and Mike Davis is now going to, I don't know, land at least 70. I don't know. Maybe it's possible. It's hard for me to say, to be honest. Marcus Stamps MMA. You yapping, bro. Is he about to start this man? You know, a lot of people like to say that, and then when I'm right, they disappear. They don't ever come back to the stream. But maybe I'm yapping. Maybe Easy wins. But I'd like to emphasize last year my prediction accuracy was 70%. What that means is out of 100, I only got 30% of the fights wrong, right? So most of the time, I'm right, just so people understand. I'm not just doing this because it's fashionable. I can honestly and confidently say I'm one of the best predictors on the planet. You can compare any channel to mine. There are very few that can compete with me as far as prediction accuracy. So I don't just say things for the hell of it. I do like look at the Mackenzie Dern card. I do have get some cards wrong, but I work hard, man, on my predictions. I don't just take them out of thin air and I'm like, oh, I'm a fan of this guy, or oh, this guy looked really good in his previous fight. I don't predict based on that. I do actual research, hard research, and that's why I'm always so burned out. And sometimes you guys don't see me for a while because I do so much work for this particular channel. So when you say I'm yapping, I mean, if you only knew the amount of research I do. I don't like mentioning my prediction accuracy, but when someone tells me I'm yapping and I got like over 70% last year. Anyway, on to the next one. I'm not trying to be mean, my guy, even though you were a bit rude in a sense, but I get these a lot, and there might be new viewers on this particular thing and take this whole thing wrong. Anyway, Erlan easy win via Milan. You've said this before, Erlan. Come on, man. Riley, is it just too small for light heavyweight? No, Israel Adesanya needs to build muscle. Israel has the frame for light heavyweight. He just needs to build muscle. He's tall enough, to be honest. I mean, he looks very skinny at middleweight, to be honest. Riley, he's not even huge. It's not even a huge middleweight. You shouldn't fight at light heavyweight unless you have to cut to get the easy look skinny for me at middleweight. To be honest, I think he would be better served at light heavyweight. I guess that's just me. But I'm sure if you look at Israel Adesanya's height and you look at a couple of people at light heavyweight, you'll see that the only difference is muscle. Um, Erlan, he's skinny, bro, not small. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Marquez Stamps MMA. Dude couldn't defend the leg kicks from Barkley, so you already know how it's about to go. Worst is his worst is he holds Izzy on the cage for the whole fight. Yeah, I agree. Potentially that could be how the fight plays out. Riley, good points on Izzy. I appreciate that, my guy. Let me cook my streaming, my watch along buddy. How are you, my guy? How are you? We're doing it again. Is it tomorrow? It's probably tomorrow. Yeah. Like I get confused because time zones around the world. Because it's now in Saudi Arabia, I know our time zones are a little bit closer. So I'm probably going to not have to wake up in the middle of the night if it's in Saudi Arabia because I think Saudi Arabia is ahead of South Africa by like 1 hour or two, if I'm not mistaken, or behind, somewhere like that. So it means I'm going to be able to watch it at our prime time, not America's prime time. So that's gonna be awesome. So join me. Raj, he is a tall and lean middleweight. He's not built like DDP, but he's definitely a big middleweight. He is. Israel Adesanya is massive. That's why he looks skinny, because he has to look skinny. If he builds muscle, he can't make middleweight. Israel Adesanya can be a light heavyweight and a proper light heavyweight if he builds muscle. But it's too late in his career. But I mean, a light heavyweight has trash talent. If it wasn't for Carlos Olberg, I'm sure Israel Adesanya would have considered it. But it looks like he's a little bit afraid of Alex Pereira, even though he knocked him out. But I think he doesn't want the series between the both of them to end with him losing another fight, right? So he wants to end the series on his terms. Like, I won, it ends there. You know. Erlan, we're not gonna call you crazy here. We call you Zulu Unc. I don't know if Zulu means something else to you guys, but in South Africa, it's a tribe. It's the Zulus, I guess. Yeah. Riley, he do struggle late. He kind of always dodging. He seems to start dodging himself when he has it in the bag. Yeah, I agree. He slows down significantly. Let me cook. Is this gonna win by decision? I guess. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Let me cook. Erlan, is he entering that Kevin Holland mentality right now? Nah, it's not going to be that Kevin Holland mentality, man. Don't do that to him. Short McGee, control time is huge in WMMA. I agree with you. Damn, okay. You've been here for so long. Let me cook. There's no way Izzy fall like that. I guess we'll see, man. Riley, Mayra Bueno Silva. Oh, okay. Raj, I think Naimov and Saeed and MVP fight to go the distance are my confident picks. Okay, that makes sense. Let me cook. Saeed can sub Oliveira, but I think it's gonna be a decision. Yeah, it's close. For me, it's hard to actually say, to be honest. Let me cook. I don't see Oliveira winning this matchup. For me, it looks significantly close. I could see him winning, to be honest. Retroma, how you feel about Mike Davis under 65? I've been getting this question a lot on this particular stream, which is uh, which is crazy. But a lot of you seem to be confident that he's not going to land more than that. So maybe you can go for that. Who knows? Erlan is just happy. Riley, how would you rather take a nut kick from Justin Gaethje or an eye poke from John Jones? None of the above, man. John Jones is a heavyweight and one of the most talented fighters in history. So if he eye pokes me, it might make me blind. On the other hand, Justin Gaethje kicking me in the nuts, I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle that. But I'll take being kicked in the nuts than being blind. So maybe Justin Gaethje. Short McGee. Trax has to win. Who's Trax? Has to win, but if it goes out the first round, I don't know, man. I don't know who Trax is, man. Let me cook. I poke from John Jones. Erlan, just focus on your YouTube first, bro. Develop it. Later they will come. Yeah. Honestly, I don't really care much about fighters coming onto the channel. I can support them at a distance. They don't have to come to the channel, to be honest. I'd much rather have upcoming fighters who I'm shining a spotlight on than to, because I don't like to beg people and to walk on eggshells. I like the freedom of saying how I feel about a particular fighter. Obviously, it's nice to have a relationship with popular stars, but especially because I want to grow my award show, so I can't really be objectively fair if I have relationships with other fighters, it's gonna be like, dude, why didn't I win? I don't want those type of things. So maybe it's better that I don't even care about having relationships with fighters. I can admire them from a distance. Um, Let me see. uh, Mike Davis under 68.5, significant. Sounds good, I think. Yeah, a lot of people feel that way, man. Erland, bro. His new social media manager is Afrikaner. F them, F them, yourself first. Yeah, man. That's what I decided. I'm going to focus on what I'm doing, and and unfortunately, that's why I don't want to get too much into the race thing because I don't want to divide my audience. I don't want it to be about skin and everything like that. I just want us to enjoy the sport. That's why whenever anyone tries to be racist or tries to speak about racial things, I try to avoid it or laugh and move on to the next thing. Because I don't want this whole thing. I know I experience it, like, but I don't want to give it too much energy. I mean, it's someone probably laying in their bed and being bored, and maybe getting my reaction makes them happy somehow. So, which is crazy because I respond. Like, I've been on the stream, and the majority of the time I've been on the stream, I think I've been responding to comments. So you don't have to be crazy to get my attention, but for some reason, people feel like they need to be crazy, and I like responding to my subscribers. It makes me happy because I don't just do this for the hell of it or for fame or whatever the case is. I actually love this. So talking to you is nice to me. Unfortunately, obviously, as I grow, it's gonna be a little bit more difficult to respond to every single comment. But while I still can have like 5 people online, 10, maybe 20, I'm going to be able to respond to every single comment. So you don't have to act crazy to get my attention. Like, it's easy, just comment and I'll respond. Like, you don't have to be crazy. But I guess some people feel like they have to be they have to say crazy things in order to make you respond. But I'll respond irrespective, right? Um, So Jay, Imavov winning, yeah, yeah, that's what I think, man. Retro, can use his research and stay out of trouble. Oh, can use his reach and stay out of trouble. Yeah, I get, and obviously Izzy is good at that. Let me cook. They're gonna give this win to Zian by decision. Yeah, I could see that. Jay, get a better cameraman and a mic. It will make you grow substantially. You know what? Let me actually do this. It seems like this microphone is not that great because a lot of people complain when I using that microphone. As far as a camera, I mean, I'm okay with this one up until YouTube pays me. I didn't want to do live streams, but a lot of the people who I interacted with wanted me to stream, and I enjoy talking to you guys. So camera quality will come later. Um, yeah, but I appreciate that. That's the plan. But for now, I'm not going to break my bank. When and there's a strategy to growing on YouTube. You also have to take into consideration that my path is statistics and predictions. That's not easy to build, but I've managed to even surpass channels that have entertainment. You know, like, to be honest, I surpassed the channels that started before me. There's so many channels that I know that started before me. You can even look at the dates when I started my channel and compare it with some of the channels that exist. I've surpassed them, even though I do statistics. Right? I have a strategy on how I'm going to grow my channel, and I'm getting there. But I'm going to actually improve everything. But once YouTube pays me, for now, I think this is fine. Um, Riley, I'm American, so I hate a lot of my countrymen. Sorry, Earth. Riley, you should do ASMR when you're an old man. Why is ASMR, my guy? Riley, all love, brother. I appreciate that, my guy. Raj, I think Jasmine wins via decision. Yeah, I agree. Let me cook. I love this dude. He has no enemy really. Yeah, that's the goal, man. I don't want to be problematic. I hope the sound is a little bit better because I see a couple of people bouncing after I disconnected the microphone. So I hope that the mic is the sound is still fine. Let me cook. Yeah, yeah. Jasmine gonna win by decision. I could see that. Plus, it's WMMA, so I mean, it's possible. Erlan, Riley. Not everyone there is as stupid as Strickland. Don't hate everyone. Retro, I think Jasmine wins too. Yeah, I think so too, man. Raj, who is winning by KO or sub? I don't know. Let's have that conversation live when the fight is happening. Because right now I'm so exhausted, guys. Responding to emails is a lot. Because I have to respond. I have to read, think about what I have to say, and actually make sure I say it the right way. So like I'm so tired. So the thought of actually analyzing each fight to see who's going to win via KO or sub. Actually, let me just look at this. I think Terrence McKinney is probably going to win via. Hard to say, man. But I wouldn't be surprised if he gets like a knockout. Um, who else? It's hard to say, man. It's hard to say. Sergey by KO, possible. It's retro. Raj, most obvious one. Raj, give me a sleeper one. A sleeper, you mean fight of the night or I don't understand. Erlan, the difference is Gracie is only one dimensional, while Habib's team is partly from a striker background like Usman and Umar. Yeah, and even Islam. Raj, Islam is the cleanest striker out of the Habib team. I agree. Erlan, Gracie, BJJ only Habib team. Um, Kabin wrestler, Islam Sambo, Umar Usman Muay Thai. Yeah. Riley, I hope you're right about Marab. Why? Raj, Marab looks 50 right now. I don't know how he will look when he's old. And for those who don't know, he currently and previously Muay Thai world champion Dagestanians. Wow, that's interesting. Retroma, what do you think about Mike Davis under 600? You know what? I think all of you should take under 65, 69 strikes because everyone says the same thing, man. Tweezy, yo, how are you, my guy? You're finding me at the end of the stream. I'll see you tomorrow when I watch the fights live. I'm so tired, guys. Oh, I'm doing this channel, this page on Facebook. It's a law page along with this one, so it's a lot. I can't wait to just be full time on these particular things. So let me cook. Figure too small, but I guess if Aljo come to bantamweight bag, he has the most luck on winning. Yeah, I get you. Erlan, yo, Zulu Ang, read that chat. I'm reading the chat, my guy. I'm reading the chat. I keep my promises, man. Raj, Islam is more BJJ than wrestling. Hmm. Yeah, because when he gets you to the ground, he finishes you. He doesn't really control you. So I'm inclined to agree. Erlang grappling, bro. No BJJ. BJJ is part of grappling like judo. Oh, okay, okay. I hear you. Um, Raj, Zulu Ang of the perk tweaking out. Lan Zulu Ang is in the zone. Raj, Holy Eppington. Okay. Retro Mike Davis under 68.5 significant strikes. Yeah, a lot of you have been saying that, man. Mafia binary trading. Who will win tomorrow? Sarah Bullet versus Michael Venom. I'm going Sarah Bullet. Let me cook. Mike Davis gonna land more. Okay. Let me cook. Shara gonna win. Tuesday Rich, what do you think? Double over parlay Pokes and Davis bout over. You know, I don't understand the question because I don't bet. But if you're asking if the fight goes to a decision, I think so. I think you would be right. But at the heavyweight, decision is unlikely. So it's hard to say, but I could see Pogues and Hamdi as well as Ziam and Davis going to a decision. Tweezy Rich plus 101. Okay. Raj main and co-main over. Hmm. Okay. Retro Ma Ziam can use his reach and stay out of trouble. Yeah, that's what I think. Raj, I think Ziam wins. He is a solid dog. Yeah. Tuesday Rich, I like the main over as well. Um, Shaj, 70% of middleweight fights go over in the main event. Plus, it's easy, so Let me cook. He has to stay focused on takedown defense, so he's gonna eat more shots, but for sure, yeah, that's what I think as well. Retro Ziam has never been hit with more than 68 strikes. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Erlan, which chat did Angzulu read now? I'm starting from the beginning, like at the top. Raj, Ank is far behind. He will arrive. Raj, Ank is far behind. He will arrive in 1.5 to business day. That's hilarious. Twizy Rich Volkov has been looking great since Aspinall. Yeah, I got MVP. Okay, that's fair. Raj Twizy facts. Middleweight main usually goes the distance, and I think the MVP fight goes the distance as well. Okay. Um, Erlan, I'm reading my yesterday chat now. Fine. I'm not going to respond to old comments from now on. It's fine. It's fine. I'll respond to those who are in the chat. These guys. Raj, one advice to you, bro. Just read the chat and no, not the username. It'll help you read the chat faster. I'm trying to actually give context who's saying what. It also helps me remember you guys because I don't want you guys to just be generic names. That's why I'm able to remember Let Me Cook. That's why I'm able to remember. Obviously, Twizzy is always on the stream. Shot McGee is also on the stream. Reina the Rizzler, I mean, the guy has changed his names for so many times, like so many times, but I still know his name. Like you can even now, I'm mentioning these names from the top of my head because if you are regularly on my channel, I want to give you the respect of knowing who you are, as opposed to saying, "Do I know you?" And you are probably on my stream every single time I go live. I feel like that's a little bit disrespectful. That's why I try to read your names out. It helps me remember you if I'm reading it a lot. Um, but I appreciate that. I'll try to see Raj Angseping in seven figure. Like Zulu unflexing that goatee. What? Wow. Tai Bet Sub. How are you, my guy? Twizy Rich. Unk is crazy. Right? Unk is crazy, dude. Like, Tai Bets. Kids call anyone with facial hair Unk nowadays. I can see Raj. What's up, curly head Unk? Wow, Elan. I feel like I'm rewinding his life now. You guys are insane. Raj, so the MMA man, the Shara can knock out the Pereira. No, it's not. I'm not. That's why I explained. I wasn't saying. I wasn't saying it's not MMA match. I'm just saying technically. That's why I said it doesn't really matter because if you don't have knockout power, it doesn't matter. But in a kickboxing match, if maybe power was not part of it, I'd pick Sharamagomedov to beat anyone, including Pereira. But because of the power, I can't do that. Thai bets Ankh awaiting a coconut to fall on his head to knock some sense into him. Damn, that's pretty harsh. Choosing Rich, in my opinion, Pereira is a slow starter and uses the early rounds to find a finish later. Yeah, that's fine. Raj, this how the commenters will be yapping because there are only 11 fights on this card. I'm reading the chat backward for real. Imagine if Anga gets schizophrenic. Wow, damn. Taita, you legit funny. You think Shara finishes Adesanya? Yeah, possibly. Um, Raj, nah, Ankh might be a relative of Miran. Why? I didn't even say anything nice about him. I just think he's really good. How is his own brother David Adesanya gonna pick against him? Damn, did he? That's crazy. Ty bet Sean Kingston will with the Heat pick. Oh, Sean Kingston is hilarious, man. Let me cook. I don't see how Imavov finishes Izzy, and Izzy finishes Imavov to this fight that goes to decision 100%. He could submit him. Izzy gets tired in the later rounds. Tracy Ridge, that until looked good versus DDP. In hindsight, but I mean, DDP, um, DDP didn't have the no surgery and cardio thing was still a problem. Black Swordsman, Strickland major reason for loss was the cut near the eye in DDP fight. I guess we'll see. Raj, you know your name hard to pronounce when an African can't pronounce it. Damn, can we pronounce every name? Wow, this guy. Erlan, this is a fake name, bro. My real name is more difficult because it's a Han Chinese name. Oh, okay. Tizurichi. Easy needs to stop holding pizza boxes at home. Tizuri, light heavyweight is the greatest class for Adesanya. I agree. Erlan, why is Zulu angry? The chat back once now. Not new chat that appears. I apologize. I thought maybe, and now it makes sense. I'll try to read like the most recent, but imagine if I started at the bottom and then went back. Okay, I'll do that. But then your later chats, I won't be able to see them. Um, he's answering every question. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Ty Bez, the last Ankh. Wow. The last Ankh Bender. I'm speechless. Tweezer Rich, man. The Adesanya Pereira rivalry was my favorite. Yeah, we got like two amazing fights from it. How can Ang keep talking without drinking? It's crazy, but I also ask myself, it is rich, yes, sir. I was having goosebumps all the time in that rivalry. Yeah, it was a good rivalry, man. Erlan, Raji there. Erlan, your mic and camera are fine, bro. It will get better in time. Yeah, man, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, it's not the best, but as long as you guys can see me, you'll see me in high definition and I'll have the lights and everything. But for now, as long as you can see me, then that's the most important thing. Raj, yes, bro, I appreciate that. Tuesday Rich McKinney, probably. I don't know what he's responding to. Raj, Erlan, do you bet? Erlan, no, Raj. I'm already had enough. Damn. No need to bet. Haram for me. Wow, you're Muslim. MashaAllah. Raj, damn brother. Erlan, I'm had enough. Nah, I don't bet. Religious reasons as well. You know, I'm actually a Muslim, by the way. So it's haram. They don't want to disclose that because in future people will be like, "Ah, that's why he loves Islam and Habib," and so it's not that, you know. But yeah, that's one of the reasons why I don't bet. Can't be me. I'm a sinner. Wow, Raj, and you're proud, this dude. Erlan, it's okay, bro. Different life, different story. Yeah, I agree. Tomorrow, if Uncle Live, tell him to read the chat by scroll down, not up. Okay, got the message, my guy. Shamil Gaziev gonna school this his opponent. Yeah, Tuesday Rich. I'm basically banking on both fights to go over 2.5 for um plus 100 return. Okay, that makes sense. Raj Tweezy thoughts on Ziam versus Davis and Oliveira versus um, Saeed over. Rich, I'm pretty confident Ziam Davis goes over. Shesh said Oliveira more risk in my opinion. Said could get the sub. Okay, Raj. God, you think Saeed could find the sub too, but I'm leaning a decision. Nigerian, who is gonna win? No, I'm not Nigerian. I'm South African. Who's gonna win, Ziam or Davis? I'm going Ziam. It's Mochi. Um, yo, I don't know how to pronounce your name, my guy. 47, Ziam. Raj, I would respectfully advise Ang to just read the chat, not the username, to save more time. Okay, I'll try to do that. Uncle Live, is Uncle Live in the chat again? Uncle Live is a problem. When Uncle Live arrives in the chat, it's gonna be a problem. Nah, I'm not Muslim, bro. I feed my area dogs if I hit my bets. Wow, that's actually pretty incredible. Um, Unk alive. Oh, okay, that's pretty small. Raj Pereira is going to be 38 in July. He's a legit Unk now. Wow, so I'm like Alex Pereira. You see, I was able to read every single comment. I pat my back for that. Good boy. Guys, we'll talk tomorrow. I need to save my energy because the stream is gonna be another 8 hours or 9 hours. So, but it's 11. Is it 11 fights? It's 11 fights if I'm not mistaken. So join me live tomorrow. Let's watch the fights together. I love and appreciate all of you. Until tomorrow. Peace out, Tweezy, Raj. You got plus 100 Chinese social credit for this great accomplishment. Thank you for that, my guy. Thank you. I don't know the monetary value, but the sentimental value is very high. I appreciate that. The Jagger 47. Where is that? So many bird. It's Africa, South Africa. It's in the township of Pretoria. Well, Pretoria is a city. I live within Pretoria. The most populous cities in South Africa is Johannesburg, probably followed by Cape Town. But the capital city of South Africa is Pretoria, and that's where I live. Um, GG boys. Yeah, go. Deuces, guys. See you guys tomorrow. I appreciate every single person who joined the stream. Ignore my advice to not read username from the start. Okay. Because I want to remember all of you. So you see now, because I saw your name a lot, you and Erlan, I'm going to be able to remember you guys. So I appreciate that. See you guys tomorrow. I hope you join me. Until then, deuces. Rest is African City. It was gold mine town. I don't want to speak about racism.